Hi, this is Keiko Sue, Life After Divorce mentor and founder of Wings for Women and host of the Wings for Women radio show. Welcome to our series of videos on tips for thriving after divorce. These are answers to frequently asked questions about life after divorce. And this particular video is about financial stability after divorce, money management, and how to become financially independent. Now, many of you came from different situations coming out of your divorce. So some of you may have left your marriage with nothing more than your clothes on your back. Others have left your marriage with half of the financial assets, which may or may not include your home. And some of you may be receiving spousal support from your ex-husband, and in other cases, some of you may actually be paying alimony to your ex-husband, depending on your financial situation. So we're all coming out of divorces in a different situation. But what we all have in common is this, is that when you come out of a divorce, you are on your own now. Money management is now your responsibility. And some of you may not have had that responsibility in quite a while. So we wanted to cover some tips on that in this video, because we know that financial stability is the number one concern of women coming out of a divorce. So the way I like to explain it is just very simplistically and just show you basic formula of income minus expenses equals your savings. I mean, that is the most basic formula for managing your money. So what that means is that the more income, if you increase your income and if you reduce your expenses, then you have more to save. That's pretty basic, right? And I also like to show it as a picture. And so another way to look at that same formula, see if I can get this card straight, is to show it like this, like a container of water. And the more income you have pouring in from the top and the less expenses you have seeping out of the bottom, the more savings you have to retain in the container that you can save, you can invest, or whatever. So that's one basic thing you want to look at here. Now, the goal, of course, is to increase your income and reduce your expenses. So let's just talk about how to do that. Now, income for most of you who have a job would be your salary for the most part. You might also have some investments. And if you have your own business, then your business revenue would be your main source of income. And if you have alimony, if you're receiving alimony from your ex-spouse, then that is, of course, also a source of income. But one thing to just remind yourself is that you don't want to get too dependent on the alimony, because eventually you're going to have to be independent yourself. So why not start now in terms of developing a source of income for yourself that's stable and hopefully pretty good. So the income equation has a lot to do with your career, and we'll be talking more about careers in the next video. But let's just talk about expenses for a minute. So in the expenses, we're talking about reducing the amount of outflow, and we do need to keep track of what's coming in and what's going out. So as far as managing your expenses, the best thing you can do is to really keep track of what you're spending. And if you are so inclined, to actually keep a spreadsheet. Now, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, which is a national organization, a federal organization, has a great website that has a lot of tools on it that you can use, including some budgeting tools. And to get to their website, go to www.nfcc.org. That's the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. And if you have a significant amount of debt, then that is also a great organization to go to look for either free or low-cost counseling services in debt counseling or credit counseling. So that's a good resource for you. But in any case, you should develop a budget for yourself, track your expenses, keep a spreadsheet, and think about what expenses you have that are fixed versus what kind of expenses you have that are discretionary. So fixed expenses would be things that you have to pay every month, and then or every year. And then discretionary expenses are those that you can either live with or without, or you can reduce. And So some ideas that a lot of women have had about reducing some of their expenses would be that if they were, in particular, if they didn't have children, that they would move into an apartment or actually share a house or share an apartment with some other women. And of course, that is also a great way to get some companionship and friendships as well. But that's a great way to save money, especially when you're coming out of a divorce. Now, if you have children, that's a different story. But if you have a family home that you have retained as a result of your divorce, you might even consider taking part of that home and renting it out to somebody else as just another source of income, and will also help to defray your mortgage expenses or other expenses that you may have, utilities and so forth. So keeping track of expenses is very important in order to be able to manage your expenses. And I know that some of you may not like doing that, but if you're really serious about managing your money, you really have to keep track of what's coming in and what's going out. The other thing to do is to make sure that you save at least some amount of money every month. Just set a target. It doesn't have to be a large target, but just set a certain amount of money that you're going to be saving every month and stick to it. And really manage it as tightly as you can. Some of you came out of your divorce with a lot of cash, as a divorce settlement, which is like your nest egg, and you may want to invest it. And so if that's the case, you may want to hire a financial advisor or financial planner to help you invest it in such a way so that you have a diversified portfolio that you can actually live off of. And gain and earn some more income off it. So those are some tips for you in terms of income, expenses, and savings. If you would like to see more resources on life after divorce, feel free to go to my website, which is www.wingsforwomen.net. www.wingsforwomen.net. This is Keiko Sue, your Life After Divorce mentor, and take care. Thanks.